We are about to get underway at the Southeast Regional Cyclocross Championships, and this course was an absolute brute, and it was a mud bath. The conditions were horrible. About halfway through, it absolutely hammered it down, but we're away, and I actually got a pretty decent start. The CX Cartel matey, spoiler alert, he wins the race. But I actually got a fairly decent start. So coming into here, I think I was sitting in 4th place. And these first few corners, they were a little bit slick. I've moved back to like 5th here. But just round here, these corners were muddy. It doesn't do it justice. And I've tried to keep the camera as clean as possible. Some of the shots you're going to see here are not great because obviously there's mud everywhere, and on the first lap your eyes are jumping out of your head and you just don't have time to like keep the camera clean. But we're going absolutely full whack down here, and it was a hilly course, super hilly, and it hurt. But as I said, muddy through these corners, it doesn't really do it justice. You can't really see much, but we drag up this little section, and I'm happy with the position I'm in now. I'm in 4th place. I've given it full whack from the start. I'm in a dark place already. And you know when your legs just aren't quite sharp and not quite there? That was the story of this day. I was going along and I was thinking, at any point the wheels could fall off because my legs are screaming at me right now. But it was just, the boys were absolutely putting the hurt on everyone. It was just full send. So I've moved up past Jack here to get on because I saw the guy in green starting to open up a gap, and I was thought that could be dangerous. I haven't raced this league before, so I don't know who are the fast people. Obviously I've raced Boney, I know he's there, and at some point the man's going to come past me. But we're going down past pits now, and as we go down this next section, look at that guy in front, foot out, flat out, love it. Absolutely full send down here. It looks so slow, but during the race it felt like I was going so fast. It looks pathetic. But this was the toughest part of the course now. See, I let that wheel go a little bit and that gap's opened up, so I've had to try and like sprint to shut that down. But we're about to go into like the main climb, and the GoPro of course doesn't do it justice. This was like going up Mount Everest, I tell you what. It was a killer. The GoPro just doesn't do it justice. But I was just digging in with absolutely everything. You can see CX Cartel, mate, he's just absolutely out the saddle. Mash, getting up there, full send. So I've jumped straight on his wheel because I'm thinking this bloke's looking powerful. But I got to the top of this climb. We are, what, 3 minutes in? And I'm not going to lie, I felt absolute Shell City. And the thing is, this is where it gets even harder for me. One thing that I am terrible at is riding through thick mud. When the cadence gets really low and you've got to start grinding a little bit, and you like look down and you've got no more gears, and you're like, this is not good news for my twiddly little legs. But there goes Boney past me, and as soon as you see that man go past you, you've got to get on it. So he went straight to the front past CX Cartel, and I thought, I've got to get on that. You cannot let that man go. He's an absolute animal for the full hour. But as I was saying, through this section was absolute hell for me. I was in my easiest gear, spinning as fast as I could, but I just don't have the power through this like thick mud. It's absolutely miserable, but I am glued to Boney's wheel now. I knew at some point the man was going to come past me, and I thought, I'm going to jump on there and I'm just going to bury myself. But through here, I think CX Cartel comes back past. I should find out his name, I apologise. And it was an absolute grind, that section. It's like a drag up the hill, and it was just hurt locker. And just here, you know, when you go over the top of the climb, you just got to keep the pressure on. I ease up because I'm hurting. I'm in a state. I'm a shell of a man. And look at this little gap that starts to open. And the thing was, we're going onto the motocross track now, and it was ruts and everything. And I didn't exactly know what line to take, but they're like elbow to elbow. If you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing. Those boys are giving each other the elbow up there, so that slowed them down, which allowed me to get back on. But look at that mud, it is pure filth, it's absolutely disgusting. And then this corner was slippery as, and then it kicks up this little climb, and I can see Boney here absolutely sliding all over the place. Looks like he's on the rollers at the van, so I've snuck past him, and I tell you what, I thought before I watched this video back, I was like, I had an absolutely shocking performance. But to be honest, looking at the first lap of that, I should be pretty proud of myself, because I'm not normally this close to Boney. But he obviously didn't like seeing the back of me. As beautiful as my rear is, he came straight back past me. Down this little section, and this section was an off and run. You can see the guys in front. I think Boney gets off here, yeah. So it's an off and run. It was just impossible to ride. It was faster to run. They jumped back on. I decided to run this section because you can see it's just like a scoot job, and then jump back on. But the pit crew was on high alert. They were working hard today, because I think I bike changed like every lap, just because I don't know if I needed to or not, but you know when it just gets in your head a little bit that you're carrying a little bit of mud and Dad's there, so you think you might as well change. But coming up here, you can see the CX Cartel, mate. He got a bit of a gap on us now, and I'm not really sure how he done it, but you can see Boney's trying to close. I'm trying to go with it, and I'm thinking here, I'm going to pit, get a clean bike, and hopefully that's the little spur on I need. So I run into pits, me and CX Cartel pit. Boney doesn't. You can see just here, and he gets a little bit of a gap on me, and now I'm trying to shut this down, but it's not easy. That is not a small gap, right? That's not a big gap, sorry, but it's just so hard to shut it down when your heart is jumping out of your chest and you've given it the ponies for first lap and buried yourself. Trying to shut it down, you're looking at it now and you're thinking, just one little surge and you'll get back on. But when you're hurting, it's not easy. And to be honest, this is when my legs just started saying, no, ease off. It is so hard to keep burying yourself. And you can see Boney's trying to get onto CX Cartel. I'm just trying to keep it moving and stay in contact with them. But we're sort of like, this must be like a lap in now. So a lap in, we're back on this like draggy, slippy climb, which I had an absolute nightmare on the next lap that I'll show you in a minute. But I'm trying to close it down, everything I've got. And I've just about managed to make contact here. And I'm thinking, this is ideal. Boney will shut down that gap in front. As long as you can just glue yourself to the man's wheel, you'll be fine. But look, you can just see how gaps open up so quickly if you haven't got the technical ability in the mud. He's a really good mountain biker. I think he's elite mountain bike, so you know the man's got some techers, and your man is like, I'm like stabilizers on going down there. So yet again, it's wasted energy now because I'm trying to bury myself to get back on. And I've said it loads of times before, technical skills in cross is so important. It's just a different kind of beast, especially when it's muddy and slippy like this. And if you're having to like accelerate out of the corners all the time, trying to catch back up, you're just killing yourself. And I knew at this point, I knew I wasn't going to be able to hold Boney's wheel up this next climb. I was hurting. I was a shell of a man. My legs, I was looking at them and I was like, please just give me something. And I slipped out just there, which didn't help at all. And you can see he's just mashing it out of the pedals. And I'm thinking, come on, get back on, little sprint. And this right here, for me, is where the wheels absolutely fell off. We're a lap and a half in. I'm trying to shut that gap down, and I am Shell City. Your man has not got the legs. His little noodles could not get up here. And as I was going up here, I was thinking, I regret all of the crap food, all of the cake I eat, because this hill is so steep. And I think it is just here where, so I'm sitting in third now, and I think it's just here where Jack might go past me. And as soon as he goes past, you can see how much of a gap Boney's put into me there. Absolutely ridiculous. But Jack goes past me there, and I've raced him quite a few times at Nationals, so strong boy. So I was like, you've got to jump on that. And he was shifting up that climb. So I've tried to jump straight on it. And I'll tell you what, I don't know. I'm in two minds. Did I have bad legs on a day, or did I just go too deep in that first lap trying to shut down little gaps and stuff like that? Did I blow my biscuit? Were my legs on a bad day? I don't know. I think it was a mixture of both. I definitely blew my biscuit a little bit, but as well my legs just weren't there. And you can see here, I think just on the right, Kishan goes past as well, and they're just pulling away from me now. I am a weak noodle man trying to get through this mud. Look, I just do not have the power in that low cadence. I think it's something I need to work on. When I can get into like a nice high cadence rhythm, it's fine. And the Hunt guy goes past me. So literally in the blink of an eye, I've gone from sitting in third place to dropping back to sixth and getting dispatched by these boys. They are the Hunt guy had the right idea there, getting off and running. Me, look at me, I'm grinding, trying to get through it. It's just, it was terrible, a terrible decision. But thankfully, a little bit of techers down that descent, and I managed to bridge back onto Jack. So not all too bad. But I knew as soon as I got back to that climb and the draggy mud bit, I was going to be in absolute shell city. But coming through the pits here, there's the leader CX Cartel, there's Kishan and Boney going through, and you're going to get to see the gap here for me. So it wasn't huge after 2 laps. The Hunt lads just gone through there, and now I've taken a bike for a bike change, so the gap wasn't massive. But I did get past Jack just before the pits, and then he instantly went back past me. The lad was on top form today. He was shifting. And then this is where it went to complete pot. Round this corner, down he goes. You can't park there, George. What a nightmare. I mean, at any point in the race, you do not want that to happen. It's when you're feeling like an absolute shell and you're just trying to cling on to the group in front. And then, look, you can see the gap they put into me there. I fell off, my head went, my legs went, and I just couldn't get back on. I was grinding up these climbs, and that was basically the race for me. So I managed to dig in. I was there for like 2 laps, and then the wheels just completely fell off. My legs deserted me. I managed to get some good practice in on these descents, but I was absolutely in no man's land. The 2 guys that were like chasing me were a little bit back, and the guys in front were just edging out each lap, just putting a little bit more time into me, and I just didn't have it today. So we're just wrapping up the final few corners, and unfortunately on the day I was hoping to get in the top 5. I finished 6th. What a brutal course. The climb was savage. I need to cut out the cakes, and the boys were on top form. They put me in the hurt locker from start to finish, and I didn't have the legs. But that is regional champs complete, 6th place for me, and I'll catch you in the next video.